From Mamma Mia, welcome to The Spill, your daily pop culture fix. I'm Laura Brodnick.
And I'm Ksenia Lukic.
And coming up on the show today, a very passionate topic that we're going to dive into because we barely even had our morning meeting this morning. We just came in and started ranting about this. A whole bunch of new reboots have been announced, a whole bunch of new sequels of some of our favourite movies growing up, and it has divided the world. We're going to get into that because some harsh truths need to be told.
Yes, but first, another sequel / reboot.
Yeah, but I'll put my thoughts aside for this one.
We'll do this first because over the weekend I watched Happy Gilmore 2.
Me too.
And
wait, when did you watch it? Were we watching at the same time? I watched it on Saturday afternoon.
I watched it Sunday night.
Okay, that's still good. I put my phone in a different room. I blacked out my curtains. I was like, no one talk to me.
I was kind of like, I was really, the bar was low for me. I wasn't feeling that excited about it. My husband watched it on Friday night.
Oh, separate viewing. I love that for you guys.
We never watch things together.
Yeah, that's as it should be.
Because one of us is doing kids. It's just we don't have the time to do the same shows together.
Yeah.
We also have different tastes.
Yeah. No, that tells me you're a healthy couple.
Yeah, we'll see how we go. So I watched it and I was really pleasantly surprised.
Me too. Do you think it's because we went in not expecting it to be this big spectacle? I went in just thinking I love Adam Sandler. I love that man so much. I love the movies he makes. And this is just dipping a toe back into this world he created. And that's all I want from it.
And I think that's exactly it. The low expectations. And despite the fact, often with these sequels that happen a long time after the original movie, you rehash the same jokes over and over again, which definitely happens in Happy Gilmore 2. We're going to do some spoilers, so...
Oh, yeah, okay. We're going to do some spoilers.
Maybe not spoilers,
I feel like
but
it's mostly all out there, but I feel like, people...
But if you haven't seen it and you, really want to keep it to yourself, then maybe just kind of...
Yeah, it's also, I guess, not a movie littered with lots of plot twists. You kind of know what's going to happen when you go into it. And that's part of the comfort of knowing that it's going to have a happy ending.
There are no plot twists. but but one of the things that, even though they rehashed similar jokes, it did seem quite fresh. What they did quite a lot of is using the old footage from the original movie, injecting it into it, which kind of built that nostalgia up. I think for me, some of the big things that I really, really loved, Bad Bunny, I think was a real standout.
Yeah, because that was someone I had a bit of nerves about him coming in there, because I was like, I know that man is very hot and I know he's got great songs, but I just didn't think he'd have the comedic timing.
Have you seen his Shrek SNL sketch?
No, I know he can do sketches and things. I know he often comes on talk shows with a little prepared bit, but I don't know, because he had quite a bigger part than I thought. When I found out it was more of a supporting role than a cameo, that's when I got nervous.
Yeah, I honestly think he was an absolute standout to me. Amazing comedic timing, so funny. Just his little quips, the way he played his character. I think this guy has a future in comedy. I was blown away by him.
Travis Kelce wishes you were talking about him right now.
So
that's all he wants people to say about his performance.
So obviously we know that Travis Kelce had a cameo in it. The bit where, here's a slight spoiler, and it was also kind of erotic when Bad Bunny is pasting honey on his chest. I was like, oh, and then something more aggressive happens. But I kind of wanted to go through a couple of the cameos because there are a lot of cameos. It is probably one of the most cameo-heavy movies I've seen in a very long time. I think partly it's because Adam has such a broad range of people who love to work with him, and two, it's such an iconic movie that everybody just wanted to be a part of it. Margaret Qualley was one of them. She plays a very, very small role towards the beginning, but she just wanted to be in it. So some of the big ones we've got, obviously Marcelo Hernandez, who plays Esteban. So he's from SNL. I think he plays a really great role. We've got Post Malone shows up in there, Steve Buscemi, Eminem. It's a blink and you'll miss it Eminem cameo. And I actually kind of didn't quite realize until a few minutes in. It really threw me because it does not look like Eminem. And it's basically a complete family affair. Every single person in Adam Sandler's family is in this movie. Sonny Sandler plays his actual daughter. Sadie Sandler plays another character in the show. His real life wife, Jackie Sandler, plays the ballet teacher. Judy Sandler, Adam Sandler's mum, is in it. Like, they're all there. And then obviously Ben Stiller reprises his role. I also really love Christopher McDonald as Shooter McGavin. I think he really changed his character a bit. So if you don't know, Shooter McGavin basically goes insane. He ends up in an insane asylum. And I feel like he just did such a good job of playing this like crazed lunatic. I just thought it was touching and really nice. But Spillers may not know some of the cameos because it's not really our vibe. Now, I have an insider source, aka my husband, who was telling me about all of the golf cameos. Did you know any of this? Like, when you watched it, did you clock who was like a golf star?
I didn't know their names because I don't really follow professional golf circles, but every time they brought in someone who was clearly like a plant from the golfing world playing themselves, it did kind of feel a bit obvious.
So it is basically, my husband was like, oh, it's the who's who of golf. So I had no idea, but he's like, oh, it's Rory McIlroy and Brett Koepka and Bryson. And I was like, yep, okay, cool, yep. And there's NBA stars in there. There's soccer stars in there. It is just very, very cameo heavy, but it doesn't feel overdone to me. Some of my favorite moments was definitely Happy's flask collection. So Happy becomes an alcoholic and hides alcohol in everything, which, depending on what you think, it can be either good or bad. And then Esteban getting pelted with golf balls was just highly entertaining. Needless to say, I really enjoyed it. It's silly, it's funny. It's not going to win an Oscar, but if you enjoy that kind of humor, you will enjoy this show. So we've spoken a lot about reboots and sequels, and it's kind of been a conversation that's been happening a lot of, and we've kind of taken ourselves out of it because it does feel rehashed a bit, but it does feel like it's kind of it's reaching fever pitch at the moment. So today it was announced that It Like Beckham looks like it may be getting a sequel. We've got Fokker-in-law, Ben Stiller announced that on his Instagram, Devil Wears Prada 2, Freakier Friday. It's just really overtaking Hollywood. And I feel like we kind of want to dissect it a little bit and like, do we like it or do we not like it?
Yeah, that's been we're like, I think about 10 years into this conversation when this really reached, when I think studios and streamers in particular started realizing that they could just take these properties and reboot them and do sequels. But I think this week, and the hard thing is that I've been like a little on board with it because I understand why they're doing it. It's the only way, apart from like a big tentpole like Marvel, which is also taking material that has a huge fan base and making it into movies. It's the only way a lot of studios can make money now with the way like the film industry is collapsing. So they know if they do a reboot or a sequel, there's a built-in audience. And so for a while there, I was kind of on board with it, but now it's kind of infiltrated the market so much. It's just like, I feel like it's squeezed every little bit of creativity and interest out. We'll just think of like the content we've been doing recently. Happy Gilmore 2. I Know What You Did Last Summer, which is a reboot and the same kind of material. And talking constantly about The Devil Wears Prada 2 and Practical Magic 2, and it's just everything in our world at the moment is so centered on reboots and sequels. It just feels like we're in this like constant loop now that we can't get out of.
And it's almost like a little bit of, sucking the creativity out. You start to miss out on those original ideas. Like you think about a movie like Parasite, which was so obviously an Oscar winner and so revolutionary that it feels like sometimes we miss out on those really unique and different ideas. The thing is, the studios know that this is what's going to bring in the dollars. The data doesn't lie. And in an economy where everything is streaming, studios rely on, and our Netflix, Disney Plus, Stan, all of these studios rely on the data that comes from it. And what the data shows them is that this is what is being streamed, this is what is being played, and it's almost like this emotional comfort food for viewers.
And the hard thing is, like, I do feel like a little bit of a hypocrite because I know, like, we've had a lot of shows lately where I've been like, oh my God, Practical Magic 2, tell me everything, hook it to my veins kind of thing. And then at the same time, there's this like crazy fatigue. I feel like the tipping point was actually last night for me because I saw the news of It Like Beckham, the sequel in the works. And I love that movie, like every other kind of millennial woman, like that's such a huge moment. But I also feel like it just exists in this kind of perfect world where I don't feel like I need to go back into it and see those women's stories. I feel like it exists in a moment in time. But the point that tipped me over was about last night at midnight when I was doing a little scroll before I went to bed, and I saw Piper Perabo on a panel, and she was asked about a Coyote Ugly sequel, and she said, we're having conversations and it looks like it's happening. And I nearly tossed my phone across the room and I was like, that is enough.
Yeah.
Because especially like a movie like that, Coyote Ugly, like, I don't know, I'm assuming you loved that as a teen. Yeah. That's a whole
You
religion.
can't see my face if you're listening, but if you're watching the VOD, I am like, yeah.
Yeah. Like we'd watch it at
Iconic.
sleepovers and pretend we were dancing on a bar, and that's what you should do when you're like 11. And you like have no idea what alcohol is like, but you're like, this is what you cosplay with your friends being drunk. I've just a beautiful memory. But that movie exists in like a moment in time where like it's based on an Elizabeth Gilbert article that she wrote about a bar called Coyote Ugly. And then it kind of took this like kind of wish fulfillment story that I feel like wouldn't land as much now. It had the music and the song and like everything about it is just so ridiculous. Freaking love that song. I would die if I ever saw Leanne Rimes just because like that song is my whole life. But I also feel like how do you recapture that now? Like, what is she going to be? Violet's going to be back at the bar teaching a new group of women how to be Coyote Ugly dancers? Like, I don't need to see that.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing with the Bend It Like Beckham one, I can see there being a space for that, particularly with like the conversations around women in sport and the rise of like, you know, the American women's football team. Like they have had such a resurgence. So I think there is a new story to be told there. It was interesting. The director, Gurinder Chanda, this is the quote she said. She's like, it's very hard with sequels. There are very few sequels that I think really hit the mark after the success of the first film. So I think that's why she's been really reticent to do it. Yeah. But maybe that one I can see there being some space for.
Yeah, and it's not like I want that woman to make a movie. I even want her to make it with the same cast. Like write her a blank check. I just think like sometimes it's got to be like a straight sequel or nothing. Whereas I feel like sometimes back in the day, like in the 90s, even going back to then, they kind of had the same idea of how to replicate success without watering it down. So like Pretty Woman, like that was a huge success. They tried to make Pretty Woman 2. Every draft was just horrendous because you're going to have Richard Gere breaking up with his prostitute lover. Like there's no fun way to go back into that perfect romantic moment we left them in. So instead of making a direct sequel, they just took the same leads, the same writers, the same cast and made Runaway Bride. And people went to see it because it was almost like an unofficial sequel to Pretty Woman without ruining the original. Let's go back to that.
I think so too. I mean, I like a sequel, but every single time I watch them, I'm like, is this going to ruin my childhood?
Yeah. And that is so true.
Is
that is 100%.
This going to ruin my fond memories of that? And we're addicted to nostalgia. Like people love it because it makes you feel warm and fuzzy when before you had a mortgage and kids to put to daycare and, you know, responsibilities. Like it gives you that blissfulness of that time gone by. Like there's a reason we love it. But so often I avoid watching them because I'm like, oh, please don't ruin this for me.
Yeah, it's so often I'm like presently surprised. I feel like when the Scream franchise rebooted with like bringing back Neve Campbell, a lot of the other characters from the originals, but also bringing in a new cast and like starting that again. I feel like that was a world that we could go back into. And I feel like the last time I saw a sequel and I was like really blown away by how good it was Beetlejuice 2, which when I first heard of it, I was like, we don't need it. Don't go back. But I think that was just such a strong story. It worked. But maybe also like like I like the movie Beetlejuice, but it's not like a part of my DNA like some other movie, like, and for some other people. So maybe that also when you have like a bit of space from it.
Yeah. So with Focker-in-Law, I think Focker-in-Law works because we've already had Meet the Parents, we had Meet the Fockers, we had Little Fockers. So it's already its own
cinematic universe.
It is already a universe. So I feel like that works. Although I'm confused about Ariana Grande being in it.
I think she probably just grew up loving those movies. And also that girl, and she's a very good comedic actress. And she loves doing those big comedic swings. So I think that's probably what sold her.
I will watch that one. That I'm okay with. The Beckham one, It Like Beckham, I think I would also be... I think there's space for that in this current climate. Freakier Friday, I'm worried about.
Everything I've seen from like the trailers looks quite promising. I haven't seen it yet. That's this weekend activity before it comes out in cinemas. But I also think with that, like there does feel like there's a bit more story to tell. Just because Lindsay Lohan's character Anna was a teenager at the time, and now they've like there's enough story there line with now her having her own child and like the role reversal that's happening there, and also having like Jamie Lee Curtis's character there. That one I'm kind of okay with. I feel like the rules, not that anyone's listening to my rules, but I love a good rule. I think the rules are like, is there a whole nother story to tell without going and tarnishing the original story? Or was it not made for a big enough audience the first time? And that's where I think that's maybe more of a TV series thing, because there's so many TV shows that I grew up with as a teen that like I'm still completely obsessed with to this day. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, obviously, Charmed, Roswell, all those kind of TV shows. And a lot of those have got reboots, or in the moment they're in like the process of getting a reboot. Literally the other day they put up the table read for Buffy the Vampire Slayer and about 20 spillers the second it was up sent it to me. And I was like, guys, I've seen it. And obviously I'm sobbing. But
we know the Charmed reboot didn't work.
It kind of worked for a few seasons though.
But not in the same way. It didn't
but I
have
also
that
think it
same
wasn't,
impact.
I feel like, but I never think it was going to be, because the original Charm was like a big network television show. And like it was on Thursday nights at like 8:00. And that was the one show on. So we all watched it. Whereas the new Charmed reboot, I think, went into like a streaming world where you're just watching with lots of other things. And so it's never going to have that hit. But I also think like the original Charmed was all white women and a very kind of singular story. And so when the new Charmed came out, I was like, it doesn't matter if it's for me. I did watch and I liked it, but it wasn't going to hit the same way as when I was a teen. But I think it existed for a different audience. And I think that's the same thing with the Roswell reboot, which is actually quite great, but it didn't hit the same as like the original Sherry Appleby version that was on it when we were teens. But I also think like it broadened out the world. It also made it more inclusive. It told a different story. It was a layered story. And maybe like we got our turn the first time around. So it was for a new audience. Yeah. So that's why with Buffy, I'm almost like, I know why Sarah Michelle Gellar wants to do it, but I've always been of the opinion that I think they should just pluck a story from the Buffy world and go and make it with like a whole new cast and let like this generation have their own version of it.
I think the next iteration of this taking ideas is going to be podcasts, because we've seen it so many times. Dying for Sex, we've got Shrink Next Door. So it's kind of like a lot of the times now people are picking these, whether they're true crime docs or whatever, those really big podcasts, and those are being turned into films. Yeah. That I'm interested in. That kind of speaks to me the same as like a book being turned into a movie.
Because really a book is like the only other thing now that'll get an audience in. So it's at the moment it's either you're taking IP from an old movie or TV show, or you're taking a book, because you need some sort of built-in audience. But I also think like, is it like kind of, do you think it's dumbing down our movie experience a little bit? Because I just think like going to watch I Know What You Did Last Summer, which I loved moments of, but you're only looking at it like that's a callback, that's a callback, that's a callback. And then I think about watching that versus going in to watch The Materialist, which I know a lot of people had very strong feelings, like you either loved it or you hated it. But at least we were having this big throwdown cultural discussion about a topic and a movie that we hadn't talked about before. And so you're sitting in that movie and every thought in your head has to be fresh. Every opinion has to be real. You're not just being like keeping a tally in your head of how many callbacks that have been. And I just think that that's better for our head minds.
But I think there's space for both of them.
But that's the studios. There's not space for both, and that's what we're saying.
But this is what I'm saying. Like, studios, if you're listening, there is room for both. We can have that nostalgia. We can do those callbacks. We can play the same jokes like Happy Gilmore 2 and enjoy that and watch it with just like a bit of love and nostalgia. And then we can do things. We can recreate them. We can reimagine them and use that creativity to push ourselves in a different direction. Yeah. But unfortunately, and this is where it is, it's the numbers just don't lie.
Maybe the key is just to put Pedro Pascal in everything. Have you seen those videos where people go into a movie now to see the new releases? They're like, do you want to see Fantastic Four with Pedro Pascal, The Materialist with Pedro Pascal, or Eddington with Pedro Pascal?
I will watch anything with Pedro Pascal.
I think maybe he has to just shove that man's face on every movie poster because they're three very different movies.
CGI him into everything.
They're three very different movies and titles, but they're pulling the same audience. So I don't know. I feel like that man's tired, but maybe that's where we're at the moment. Okay, so as I said, we were having a bit of, after that very impassioned discussion that no one in Hollywood's going to listen to, but I feel good that we got it off our chests.
I do too. I feel comfortable. And now I'm about to feel uncomfortable.
So in our morning meeting, which maybe we should just put a camera in there at this stage of the game, we were talking about like a few movies that we would just hate or love to see rebooted. And our producer, Manisha, who's in the room with us right now, was like, hold that, I'm going to get a list of movies and we'll get your raw and honest opinions on the pod of which ones we want to see be rebooted. So we haven't seen this list. We're going to have our real reactions.
Okay.
The first on the list, Cruel Intentions. It was rebooted as a TV show.
And they did do Cruel Intentions
and it wasn't
too.
Good. They did like 5 of them. Cruel Intentions.
I'm going to say no because I feel like it's been done. And that first one, it's just, I actually really like Cruel Intentions too.
Yeah, look, there's a few Cruel Intentions and like they're so ridiculous. Like, because the first one, I'm sorry, is a great movie.
Great movie.
Great characters, great acting.
The
Sarah
elevator.
Michelle Gellar is a sexy villain who's also a diehard feminist. What could be better?
So good.
So I'm going to say no on that one. Even
Me
though
too.
I feel like bad because when the TV show came out, I was like, guys, it's not that bad. And then I watched it and it was that bad. Sorry, guys, that's on me.
Yeah, that's
for a bad
big
recommendation.
No, we've done it. We've seen it and perfection doesn't need to be
exactly
fixed. The next one is Jawbreaker.
No one touch Jawbreaker. Sorry, that's a perfect movie. You couldn't make that today.
It's so problematic.
Yeah, in the best way possible.
Yeah, and it's because
if anyone hasn't seen Jawbreaker, it's like it's got all the it girls of that time. It's got like Rose McGowan. It's got Judy Greer. It's just
Rose McGowan in that movie is like the perfect...
She should have got an Oscar. Sorry.
The perfect
Still believe it.
Villain. But I watched that when I was quite young. And
yeah, it came out when we were like, what? Well, I think I was 12.
I was younger than that.
Yeah,
and I remember being so traumatized by the bit where they opened the boot and there was just a thing. There's the Jawbreaker in her throat.
So if anyone hasn't seen it, it's about some girls that like classic girlhood stuff. They accidentally kill their best friend in a prank and then they remake over the nerdy girl at school so she won't tell that they murdered. Hilarity ensues. It's so good.
It's a really good movie. Absolutely not. Don't touch it. And what would you even do with it?
I know. I feel like today they'd be like, I mean, the thing is, like, there obviously is a little retribution at the end, but I feel like today they'd be like, oh, no, everyone's beautiful and murder's wrong. And that's not the message I want teens to have. No. Can I just say? Don't tell them that. Oh, Pretty Woman. Oh, I think we already made our thoughts known, or I made my thoughts known on that. What's your thoughts?
Again, I don't think it would be made today. Do you know, it's funny, in the initial script of Pretty Woman, there was going to be that completely different ending.
Yeah.
It wasn't supposed to be, he saves her. She was supposed to go back out on the street.
Yeah.
And audiences like absolutely hated it. So they changed
Test
the
audiences
ending.
have a lot to, yeah.
Yeah, the initial script was really, really dark. And then it turned into a rom-com.
Yeah, and then they just turned into a beautiful makeover rom-com where, like, a sex worker just gets caught up in this fantasy world and then he comes to her apartment and it's just beautiful. Really, that was my version of... I watched it as a kid over and over again. It was my version of Cinderella. Freaking love it. Okay, I feel like neither of us are going to like this one. Center Stage. Is the answer to all of these just going to be like, no, because...
Okay.
that was also a perfect movie.
Okay, Center Stage, I think... I have like a weird, I'm not a dancer. I can't dance, but But I have a weird...
I know you're sensitive about that, so thank you for admitting it.
I have a weird obsession with ballet. I'm actually listening to a podcast at the moment about Balanchine, which is this like amazing dancer who basically created the American Ballet Theatre. And I'm like really obsessed with ballet. So I actually think Centre Stage could be remade. I actually think that one could do a reboot, not a sequel, a reboot.
Maybe it's about bringing in new people to tell their stories. Because the thing is, we haven't had just a great dance movie in, I can't even remember the last time, with an ending sequence like that. And I would, again, watch the hell out of that.
I think that one I would be okay with, because I think that the story of ballerinas, what they go through, I have like just such a weird fascination, admiration for ballet dancers. And I would watch that. Yes, I'm okay with that one. Next one is Bring It On.
Oh,
they tried it.
I mean, again, they've made about 10 of those. But I guess we're talking about remaking the original Bring It On or rebooting it. You know what? I don't hate the idea of Kirsten Dunst and Eliza Dushku having those characters who are so different are best friends now, still in their 40s, and come back to the Toros to get those gals back on track and train them for the nationals that are coming up.
Yeah, I could see that happening. But, you know, like...
And Torrance's daughter doesn't want to be a cheerleader. And Eliza Dushku's daughter does.
Okay, we could do that. And it's even more intense now what they can do.
Oh, my God, yeah.
It's like Gabby Butler from Cheer. Like, you could bring her and you could do a bunch of those cameos of those really amazing cheerleaders. And I think there's space for that. You could redo that. And I quite like the idea of like...
Yeah, I like the plot that I just formulated just then.
Yeah,
I think we get Kirsten Dunst on the phone. She's still really in the thick of acting. Eliza Dushku has left acting, but maybe this is the call that would get her back. Okay, Miss Congeniality.
I rewatched those movies recently.
Yeah, the first one's incredible. The second one's...
I still like it.
Fine.
I don't think it needs to be done.
To be yeah. I wonder if it needs to be take the idea from the first movie with the same premise, but obviously different actors because Sandra Bullock hasn't got time for that now, and like make it into like a limited series or something. Because I feel like you have to do something different, or maybe we gender swap it. Maybe it's a frumpy male who needs to go into sort of a male beauty pageant or something. I just feel like it needs something. You can't just retell the same story.
I think the reason why this wouldn't work is because beauty pageants have changed so much since Miss Congeniality came out. Like the women that are in like these Miss America, Miss Universe are like, they're actually all like doctors, you know, very, very intelligent philanthropists. It's not this whole like ditzy.
It's not just the whole swimsuit thing. Well, maybe that's the thing. Maybe when the FBI
and
agent
Trump's
comes
not
in,
involved in it anymore.
She thinks that they're going to be. Maybe it's that. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe it's that the character thinks they're going to be dumb, and she gets in there and realizes they're actually all smarter than her, and then they solve a crime. But you know what? I'm going to bump that to the bottom of the list because like it's one that I'm like I don't really care.
Yeah, I don't really care. But Sandra Bullock walking out in that purple dress in the first movie, I had a massive crush on her.
Yeah, when Mustang Sally was playing, that was just a great moment. I feel like, again, I feel like makeovers have really gone out of style, and I just think the makeover montage with the music, and I just think bring it back.
I love a makeover
Honestly,
montage.
There were whole movies that were built around a makeover montage.
She's all that, take the glasses off.
Yeah, and the whole kind of vibe around it.
Burlesque.
Oh. Do you know what's a weird thing that I'm not proud of? Is like I am a diehard musical theatre girl and I have no thoughts about burlesque. I've seen it once. It was fine. I think I stopped watching it halfway through. And it's a movie made for me, so I feel bad about that.
Laura, I'm going to hold your hand when I say this. I feel the same way.
Really?
Yes. We are both diehard musical theatre people. I mean, Cher and like Christina Aguilera.
And Kristen Bell and Stanley.
It should be something that I enjoyed, but it did nothing for me.
It's such a secret shame that I carry because so many people say to me, like, we're talking about musical movies and dance sequences and all these things. And like, as you know, that's all, and say that's all we listen to, all the music we listen to. And then people will be like to me, and you love burlesque? And I'm like, yeah, because I'm like, I can't tell you that I don't. It's like betraying our family.
I know. I feel the same way as you. I nothing
that
movie.
What is it about that movie?
I don't know. I just nothing
on paper, perfect. And I've got friends obsessed with burlesque. My producer's gonna have a heart attack because I'm assuming you love burlesque. Okay, well,
yes. Okay, sorry. We both nothing it.
So I feel like for us, it would just leave me cold. Other people, it's a perfect movie, so maybe don't touch it. But I would love to see Christina Aguilera back in the spotlight, because I feel like that woman can act, and boy, can she sing. Hot topic that no one's ever said before. She can really sing.
Do you know what? That was my biggest dream as a tween, was to be able to sing like Christina Aguilera.
Me too. And I can barely even lip sync up to her level. But
and the last one, 13 going on 30.
Ooh.
I think it's too problematic.
Really? Why do you think it's problematic? Oh, because Mark Ruffalo's smacking on a 13-year-old.
Because Jennifer Garner got a 13-year-old mind and is macking on. It just feels a bit icky. Like, I love the movie. I've rewatched it multiple times. I thoroughly enjoy it. But I think in today's audience, which is very, very, like, we're pretty PC these days. Yeah. I don't think it would get past the woke culture. And I'm woke as hell. Like, I'm very PC. I am all for it because I think it's growth, it's acceptance, it's, I'm all for it, but I don't think it would get past the ick factor.
I think
it's the same as like in Big, in Tom Hanks, Big, like
he's
we look
a little
back
boy,
on it
now that's a little boy.
He's like in love with an older woman. It's like feels weird.
And they start getting together. I mean, in the woman's defense and in Mark Ruffalo's defense, they don't know. And why would they? Why would they think that was a thing? I actually think with 13 going on 30 or Suddenly 30, as it's, I always forget which one's the Australian title. I think Suddenly 30 was the Australian title. Wild marketing to have different titles in different countries, confusing. But here it is. But I think with Suddenly 30, it's one of the few romantic comedies where I feel like the romance doesn't add that much to the story. Like, I feel like the story for that is about the magazine and her career. Like, I'm all in on that storyline, and I would watch the hell out of more movies like that. But I feel like it's not, when I think of romantic comedies where, like, you so want the leads to fall in love, it's not Suddenly 30 for me.
Yeah, it is.
The thriller scene's great, but after that,
it's definitely a B line. It's a B story. It's about her kind of reassessing what she values in life, right?
And just that ridiculous presentation where she's like, let's make the magazine fun again. I've always wanted to do a presentation like that at work and just see how quickly I get fired.
I know, this is
just like, it's me and guys, it's photos of me and my friends and nothing else.
Yeah, it's just a collage.
Yeah, and some balloons. And it's like, get this 13-year-old out of here. She shouldn't be allowed to walk through the doors of a magazine.
Yeah,
What's
what
wrong
are you
with
doing? Have you had a mental breakdown?
It's like they're like so worried that Sparkle's going to steal their ideas. And I was like, no one wants your collage, sweetheart. No one. But also, what a great movie. But yeah, maybe we just leave it where it is. Well, now that we've given our thoughts on every movie that could be remade in Hollywood,
I feel like we should ask our spillers, are there any movies that you think need to be untouched?
Yes. Or anything that you're desperate for a remake because you're like, they didn't land the boat the first time. Or the plane. They didn't land the plane the first time. Let's go again.
A boat.
Can you?
I don't know.
That seems like a question for another day.
You can dock a boat.
Yes. If they didn't dock the boat the first time.
Or land a plane.
Then what do you think they should remake?